guys, it's me, Veralyn. So New York City has shaped so much of who I am that semi-randomly, I decided to book flights to the Midwest. I went to Kansas City and Minneapolis in search of discovering what maybe I'd be like if I grew up there. First observation, I'd probably be married and maybe even divorced by now.
I got married when I was 17. My mom and dad had to sign for me, but my dad wouldn't sign for me, so he didn't come to the wedding.
But you've been married, you've already been divorced. Would you say, and you're still young, so would you say that that's something that happens a lot here, people getting married young?
Yes, I think so. And sometimes a lot of the people I know, and one thing with me was like I was pregnant too, so yeah.
So you're 23. I'm looking at you like, oh my God, you're married.
Right. I wouldn't say a lot of people do around here.
But in our hometown, everyone's married like senior year of high school.
Yeah,
like,
from our hometown. But I wouldn't say like here in the cities.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very common. I mean, maybe more common than out in New York.
They think it's a place where people get married when they're 22.
And is that not the case?
It's not necessarily the case. You get a lot of people who get back here from undergrad and they take their time. So it's not that stereotype doesn't necessarily hold true or hold the form in all cases.
The fact that as Bible Belt there is a type of like religious philosophy that comes into like how you'll practice your engagement with other people, and in a relationship like dating or anything, marriage will then become a huge factor into it. And I think people just don't necessarily want to wait as long to find that, and they'll just make it work one way or another.
Is that because you have to wait till marriage to have sex?
I think some people will like
some
that.
people. I mean, but that's not the reason why we want to get married. Like that's just like a nice perk. Like
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna buy a car just because it's air conditioning.
Right.
Now, men not always stepping up when it comes to birth control is definitely not unique to the Midwest. But in Kansas City, it didn't seem like they were just being neglectful.
A lot of the men here want children, so
Why? They
I
got
have
money.
no idea.
They got money to raise them?
I really don't. In my situation, yes, but I don't know.
Where do you think that comes from? I want to have a kid. Where does that come from?
I'm getting older. That's where it's really coming from. Because I don't want to be like 50 and I have like a 5-year-old kid.
You're 28, right? 27, 29.
Yeah. So I'll be 30 in September. my clock is ticking.
A couple of my friends they do not mess with condoms or anything of that nature. Probably I have one boy, he probably said like on hand, he probably used it a couple times. Like,
What about you personally?
me personally, I'm not a fan of them either. I am not a fan of them because I don't want this to come off a bad way, but to me they're just uncomfortable. They're very uncomfortable. So I don't like to wear them. You know what I'm saying?
So do you have any kids?
No kids.
So what has been your game plan to make sure that you don't have kids?
I've almost had kids 4 times. Like 4 times. I was, really just disappointed in myself because at the end of the day, I'm like, after the first time, I'm like, okay, I understand. The second time, I'm like, really? The third time, and after that, I'm like, okay, I'm just being reckless.
And finally, one of the biggest developments for me. If I lived in either of these two cities, I probably would have been in an interracial relationship by now. You think that there's more interracial dating happens here? Why?
Just because there's just different people from everywhere that come here for business. I don't think dating here in Minneapolis is very prominent for me, being a black woman born in a black man. But then if I was not to succeed with the guy I'm with, then I would have to tailor my wants.
And what do you mean tailor?
I would have to go outside the box. Another race, another social, another socioeconomic status. I could possibly date a mechanic.
Here, living in Minneapolis, if you want to date out here as a black woman, or anybody, I really feel, but especially as a black woman, you do need to be open to dating outside of your race. A lot of the black men that I know out here are either taken, who are, really good, smart, professional people. So that is what you are faced with. But there's a plethora of other nationalities here in Minneapolis. So one thing that you'll find a lot here are couples that come from different heritages.
So yes, I've discovered the Midwest is more than just the Wizard of Oz and farms. But obviously, these are just assumptions, and it's hard to really say what I'd be going through if I grew up there. How do you meet women?
I go to the club. We just give them money and they do whatever I want.
But hopefully, not that.